Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit. Once more, I say good morning to every one of us. Today, we are celebrating the Trinity. It is being called the Trinity Sunday. Something just occurred to me. Let's go a little bit back, trace our journey, right from the Triduum, the Easter Triduum, till today. What has been happening? All through the Easter Triduum, we celebrated the passion, the death, and the resurrection of Christ. Now, the Easter season took us 7 complete weeks. And within this week, we always punctuate them on Sundays with celebration of Jesus in one form or the other. Last Sunday, that marks the end of the Easter season, we celebrated the Pentecost. Do not forget that 10 days before this Pentecost, something happened. We celebrated the Ascension. And today, properly speaking, coming back to the ordinary season of the year, we are starting again with the Trinity. And when I look at it, do I start talking about the Trinity, which is a mystery? And what is mystery? It is something we know, yet we do not know it. Do you hear what I said? That mystery is something we know, yet we do not know it. Can you think of a concrete example of mystery? Do you know that your life, my life, is a mystery? Do you know that you yourself, I myself, we are mysteries? We know ourselves, yet we do not know ourselves. Have you never for once wondered what you did and ask yourself, how did I come about this? Many a time, we underestimate ourselves or we overestimate ourselves because we do not know ourselves. There was one great philosopher, Gabriel Marcel. He said, and if I will quote him, he said that life is not a problem, but a mystery. And I just want to add one word or two in that. Of course, I agree with him that life is not a problem. Many a time we treat it as a problem. It is a mystery. But it is a mystery we believe and lived in. We believe in this life, and that is why we are here. And we are also living this life. And that is why, in joy and sadness, we continue to persevere in life. Even when things are going so difficult, there is always hope that something better will happen in our lives. And now this is a life we believe in. We believe and lived in the Trinity. And this is where the celebration comes in. If you remember at the beginning of the Mass, I mentioned that we celebrate ourselves. We celebrate the privilege God has given to us. And let us go a little bit back again to our faith. We believe and strongly believe, and so it is, that Jesus is the mediator between God and us. Is that not true? Is that not true? Some of us are not even sure that Jesus is the mediator between God and us. Jesus is the one that built the bridge that connects us to God. And that is the meaning of the incarnation. It takes us back to another great feast that we celebrate, the Nativity. What is the incarnation? That God took human flesh and become one of us. And if we should listen to most of the Catholic theologians, they will tell you that the worst humiliation that Jesus passed through is not the humiliation of dying on the cross. It's the humiliation of accepting to be human. Accepting to be born of a woman, to be like us. That is, do I say the greatest or the worst humiliation that Jesus took? Because any other thing that happened to Jesus was a consequence of that choice he made, becoming human. And where is this thing taking us to? I want us just to conceive an idea now. People will say, Father, you are becoming too abstract. What shall I do? Since I'm talking about something I do not know. Now, conceive the idea you have a circle. All of us, we know what circle is. And conceive the idea that within this circle, call it roundabout, or whatever you will call it. Our children are not here. Call it. They will not circle these days, these children. Their head is becoming too hot. Call it zero. You have not, round. And you dotted 3 dots in that knot. 3 dots. If you rule it, it can become a triangle, but that is not where we are going. And you see that these 3 dots represent the Trinity. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. 1 dot for each. Where comes humanity? We have no place in that dot. But there is another dot outside that is the dot of humanity. And when you stretch a line, you find out that if you connect 1 dot, and what is that 1 dot? Jesus. You connect it to the dot that is outside humanity. You and myself. So it is through the incarnation that Jesus introduced us into the circle of the Trinity. When we follow that line that connects us between Jesus and us, we will now go into the circle of Trinity and join in the Trinitarian life. What I'm saying, is it clear? What I'm saying, is it clear? If you say yes, I doubt you. But that is the mystery we are talking about. It is Jesus that introduces us in the life of the Trinity. Then we start living Trinitarian life. And what is that Trinitarian life? In the concrete terms, it is you, myself, and God. You, myself, and God. So that by participating in that Trinitarian life, we are being challenged that we should see our life, our relationship with one another to be the relationship between you and me and God. And that is what we celebrate today. If I am living a life without minding what happens to you, I am no longer living that Trinitarian life. If I am living a life that I am so much interested between my relationship with God without taking care of you, I am no longer celebrating that Trinitarian life. Have you ever marked what is happening in the liturgy? Every prayer, especially when we are starting our Mass, we started with the Trinitarian sign. Any day Father refuses to do that, maybe for one reason or the other, or a ceremony has taken over it, we started agitating. We are built in that in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, reminding us that our life is a Trinitarian life. Reminding us that a tree cannot make a forest. Reminding us that I need you and I need God in order to exist.